Welcome to Light Novel Sound, where we bring your favorite light novels to life through immersive audiobooks that you can listen to for free. Today, we're diving into Solo Farming in the Tower, a fantasy adventure written by Lee Hak-young and originally published on lightnovelworld.co. This story follows Sejun, an ordinary young man who stumbles into a mysterious dungeon filled with dangerous monsters and untold riches. But when he gets trapped in a hidden area with nothing but a handful of seeds, he must rely on his wits, resourcefulness, and determination to survive. Will he turn the odds in his favor, or will the tower claim yet another victim? If you enjoy this audiobook, please consider supporting the original author by reading Solo Farming in the Tower on lightnovelworld.co. Every bit of support helps keep these amazing stories going. And if you like what we do, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your engagement helps us bring more incredible stories to life. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey. Chapter 46, Harvesting Potatoes. Once the fate of the wolves was decided, Sejun and the rabbits prepared breakfast and went down to the cave. And then, "Follow me, meow." Theo guided the wolves around, introducing them to Sejun's farm as if it were his own. "This is the green onion field, meow. And here is..." However, Theo's explanation was quickly stumped because all the green sprouts looked similar. When Theo was stuck, Squeak, Quenji, baby bear, took the lead to explain. They planted peanuts over there. Since Quenji, baby bear, was playing near the field every day, he knew very well what was planted where. "This is the peanut field, meow." So, with Quenji's, baby bear, support, while Theo was explaining the fields to the wolves. "Let's have breakfast." Sejun, who had prepared breakfast, called everyone. The breakfast menu originally consisted of green onions and cherry tomatoes, but after hearing from Black Rabbit yesterday that there were other corpses besides giant electric eel, Sejun suggested the wolves eat piranhas and crayfish. In truth, Sejun wanted to have a more substantial meal. Still, he gained some know-how from bringing back eel meat yesterday, which made it easier to bring back other corpses. Black Rabbit went down with several ropes and tied up dead piranhas, crayfish, and chunks of eel meat so that all Sejun had to do was pull up the ropes like fishing. Thanks to the low water temperature, the corpses didn't rot, and they could eat them without any issues. Of course, they had to eat detoxifying green onions. After a hearty breakfast, Sejun and the rabbit started their morning farming. And then, President Theo, put the green onion leaves in your bag. He asked Theo to put green onion leaves in his bag. He had a place to take the green onion leaves. "I understand, meow." "Wolf employees, follow me, meow." "Yes, President Theo." The wolves, who had eaten their fill after a long time, actively moved at Theo's words. Theo, who received Sejun's order, filled his bag with green onion leaves with the help of the wolves. In the meantime, snip, snip, Sejun quickly harvested the cherry tomatoes. Then, "You have simultaneously harvested 9 well-ripened magical cherry tomatoes. Your job experience increases slightly. Your job experience has reached its limit. Your tower farmer, D, rank increases. You have become a tower farmer, C. His job rank increased. Good." Sejun was happy that he could harvest more delicious C-grade crops in the future. Your job traits are enhanced as your job rank increases. Through job traits, you become more friendly with nature, and the hidden talent, Friend of Nature, awakens. Here? A talent awakens? Sejun was greatly surprised by the message that a talent had awakened. He had never heard of a case where another talent awakened besides the one during the awakening. Of course, there were hunters like Sejun who awakened new talents. It's just that hunters kept it a secret, and Sejun, who had been an ordinary person, couldn't access it. Your proficiency in harvesting LV4 increases slightly. Due to the effect of proficiency increase LV1, your proficiency in harvesting LV4 has increased by an additional 5%. You have gained 208 experience points. as Sejun was in a hurry to check out his new talent. Relic, St. Patrick's Straw Hat verifies the user's job rank increase. Tower Farmer, C, confirmed. The rank of the relic, St. Patrick's Straw Hat increases to C. C grade restrictions are lifted. Restriction on skill, Earth's Blessing LV4 is lifted. Restriction on skill, Farmer's Body LV3 is lifted. Restriction on skill, Bountiful Harvest LV2 is lifted. Skill, Growth Acceleration LV1 is unlocked. Just the job rank rising by 1 changed many things. Sejun then checked his new talent. Talent, Friend of Nature. A talent that boasts a fairly high level of affinity with nature. Communication with plants and animals, with whom you cannot converse, becomes smoother when you make contact. Communication becomes smoother when I make contact. As Sejun approached Quenji, baby bear, who was playing alone above the ground. Kuwon? Quenji, baby bear, looked at Sejun, tilting its head, wondering what was happening. Why? Chuck. Sejun grabbed Quenji's, baby bear, front paw. Kuwon? Dad, are you going to play with me? Quenji's, baby bear, cry began to be translated and heard. Oh, this is amazing. Sejun paused, amazed at the new talent. But Dad? To a person who hasn't even married yet. No, that isn't the problem. Our species are different. Explaining it to Quenji, baby bear, could take time and should be done slowly. If he explained to Quenji, baby bear, that he wasn't the father and Quenji, baby bear, shocked, hit him saying I hate Dad, it would be a fatal blow to him. And people usually regard their pets as their children. Sejun thought he just had a quite big pet bear. Definitely not rationalizing his thoughts to save his life. Definitely not. Thus, after checking his new talent, Sejun checked the skills of St. Patrick's Straw Hat. The Earth's Blessing increased magic recovery from a little to quite a lot. The Farmer's Body increased all stats from 3 to 5. The Bountiful Harvest increased the area of bountiful yield from a maximum of 100 square meter to 300 square meter. And the new skill, Growth Acceleration. Growth Acceleration LV1. Active skill. Accelerates the growth of 10 crops by a week without side effects. Cooldown, 10 days. Accelerate the growth of crops by a week. Sejun thought of the potato field that was close to harvest. What if he used the skill on the potato field? Today's lunch menu is steamed potatoes. Sejun hurried to the potato field. And then, is this how I use it? Growth Acceleration. Sejun, who was using an active skill for the first time, awkwardly stretched out his hand and used the skill on the potato field. You used Growth Acceleration LV1. Accelerating the growth of 10 potatoes by a week. The 10 potato stems that were close to Sejun glowed. The surface didn't change much. Woodujuk. The sound of the potatoes growing from the ground could be heard. Sejun waited for a moment and then pulled out the nearest potato stem to harvest the potatoes. Fududuk. Along the potato stem, fist-sized potatoes fell out one by one. You have simultaneously harvested 20 well-ripened power potatoes. Your job experience increases slightly. The proficiency of harvesting LV4 increases slightly. Due to the effect of proficiency increase LV1, the proficiency of harvesting LV4 increases an additional 5%. You gained 600 experience. Fortunately, the potatoes grew well. Power potatoes. Sejun checked the option of the harvested potatoes. Power potatoes. These potatoes grown inside the tower are delicious due to ample nutrient absorption. Grown by a farmer familiar with agriculture, its taste and efficiency have improved. When consumed, it breaks down 30 g of fat in the body and increases strength by 0.5 for 10 minutes. Up to 10 effects can be applied simultaneously within 1 hour. When non-awaknas consume it, it breaks down 30 g of fat and increases stomach activity. Cultivator, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Expiration date, 90 days. Grade, C. Thanks to Sejun's job rank rising to C, an extra line was added to the option. Grown by a farmer familiar with agriculture, its taste and efficiency have improved. And with the increased efficiency, it broke down 30 g of fat and strength increased from 0.3 to 0.5. This could draw interest from low-level hunters. Up until grade D crops, eating 10 of them resulted in a stat increase of 2, but now it has increased to 5. With that much, it could increase a stat equivalent to equipping a level 5 item at level 1. However, that wasn't important now. We have nothing to eat. Sejun thought he would sell the potatoes to hunters later when the potato harvest was more plentiful, and hurriedly harvested the rest of the potatoes. The option that makes the stomach functions more active wasn't of much interest to Sejun, who digests food well, so he quickly forgot about it. In total, he harvested 197 potatoes. Hem. Sejun hummed as he washed the potatoes. Then he filled the bottoms of 3 pots with green onion leaves and filled them with potatoes and began steaming them. The remaining potatoes were wrapped in green onion leaves to be roasted for faster consumption. While the potatoes were cooking, Sejun quickly pulled a rope that was tied to a branch stuck in the ground in front of the pond. It was to prepare grilled eel for the mother crimson giant bear. Soon after, chunks of eel flesh came up along the rope. The black rabbit had previously cut and tied them up. Squeak! When Sejun pulled the rope, the black rabbit, who had been patrolling the outside of the pond with the giant electric eel's intestine in its mouth, came out of the pond. It had come out to help, knowing that Sejun was preparing lunch. Sejun and the black rabbit grilled the eel. Then, rattle, rattle. Steam began to push and leak out from the pot lid. Is it cooked? Sejun opened the pot lid and stuck a chopstick he had whittled from a twig into a potato. Plop. The chopstick penetrated the potato without resistance. The steamed potatoes were ready. And then, raw. Coincidentally, the mother crimson giant bear returned from her patrol. Let's eat lunch. At Sejun's shout, the animals gathered around the cave. Sejun first lifted up the grilled eel for the mother crimson giant bear. Then Sejun filled green onion leaves with steamed potatoes and roasted potatoes, took it to the surface, and spread it out in the middle of the animals that were seated in a circle. Be careful, it's hot. Whoosh. The rabbit started to cool a potato each. However, the mother crimson giant bear and 2 black minotaurs picked up several hot potatoes at once and stuffed them into their mouths. Munch munch. Steam was puffing out of their mouths, but they swallowed the potatoes as if nothing was wrong and picked up more potatoes. Fearsome creatures. At times like this, monsters were truly monsters. As Sejun watched the monster's hot potato eating spree, the potatoes disappeared quickly. What? Hurriedly, Sejun grabbed 2 steamed and 2 roasted potatoes for himself and placed them in front of him. And then, hoo-hoo! He blew on a steamed potato to cool it down and carefully peeled off the skin. After peeling off about half of the potato skin, chomp! Sejun took a bite of the potato. Ah, it's hot. It was hot, but he didn't spit it out. Instead, he cooled the potato in his mouth and chewed. Ah, it's so delicious. Sejun was thrilled by the texture of the fluffy potato. In a blink of an eye, he finished 1 steamed potato and peeled another one, this time dipping it in salt. Although Sejun usually liked dipping steamed potatoes in sugar, he was disappointed there was no sugar. It's delicious. It wasn't bad eating it dipped in salt. After the warm lunchtime like potatoes. President Theo, how about the green onion leaves? I've filled them up, meow. In response to Sejun's question, Theo saluted as if he had learned it somewhere and answered. Then let's take a walk to help digestion? Woochen Sam, Minotaur 1003, guide us to the Minotaur King. For the first time, Sejun decided to go far from the cave to receive the compensation for Minotaur King's dine and dash. When Theo conveyed Sejun's words to Woochen Sam, Minotaur 1003. What? Woochen Sam, Minotaur 1003, belatedly remembered the order of the Minotaur King at the word Minotaur King and was startled. I brought some green onion leaves and want to have a little chat. For now, he did not let Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, know about the Minotaur King's dine and dash. There was no reason to give up the possible advantage in negotiations. Moo! At Sejun's words, Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, was very pleased. By taking Sejun, he would effectively carry out the order of the Minotaur King. Moo! With joy, Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, decided to guide Sejun to the Minotaur King. On the 208th day of being stranded, Sejun finally left the cave and set off to tackle the boss on the 99th floor of the tower. TL notes. Quenji, baby bear. Starting from chapter 37, the author began referring to the baby bear as Quenji, without any specific reason or further explanation. Initially, I opted to stick with the name baby bear until now. However, as the story unfolds, the name Quenji is being used more frequently. Therefore, from this point onward, I will start using the name Quenji in future chapters. Chapter 47. When Sejun announced he was going to meet the boss of the 99th floor of the tower, Minotaur King. Squeak! Growl! The black rabbit and the Quenji, baby bear, stepped up. We'll protect you. And then, President Theo, get ready. What, meow? I'm going too. Theo, who was in charge of luggage, was forced to go on a business trip. Lead the way. You moo. At Sejun's words, Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, and Wuchen Sa, Minotaur 1004, took the lead. But, thud, thud. Hey! How are we supposed to keep up if you run so fast? In a moment, Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, and Wuchen Sa, Minotaur 1004, quickly got away. Oh great black dragon! I will serve you. Elka knelt in front of Sejun, and the other wolves carried the black rabbit and Theo on their backs. However, Grr! Quenji, baby bear, was held by the front paw of the mother crimson giant bear. As a mother, she couldn't send her cub to a dangerous place where Minotaur King is. Quenji, baby bear, it's dangerous, so wait here. Sejun tried to comfort Quenji, baby bear. Grr! With the sound of Quenji, baby bear, crying that he wanted to go with them in the background, Sejun, Theo, and the black rabbit set off on wolves towards the waypoint guarded by Minotaur King. Da 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 da. The wolves moved at a speed of nearly 70 kilometers per hour, which was extremely fast. Swoosh. The vast wasteland quickly passed by Sejun's eyes as he rode on a wolf. After running for a while, the endless wasteland ended and a red land began to appear. Was it mud? The idea of mud bricks came to Sejun's mind. If I make bricks, I can build buildings. While Sejun was moving, thinking of building buildings with mud bricks. Here! A group of over 1,000 black minotaurs appeared in the distance. But, what are they doing? The black minotaurs were seen putting clumps of mud into their mouths. Is that why they get excited just by seeing grass? Sejun suddenly felt sorry for the black minotaurs. You moo-ah! Minotaur 1 rushed to call Minotaur King. What's the matter? Minotaur King, who was sleeping in front of the waypoint, opened his eyes and asked. Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, and Wuchen Sa, Minotaur 1004, have returned. What? Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1004? Thump! Minotaur King kicked the ground and stood up at the news that Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, who ignored his orders and went on a date, returned. Where are they? But they brought a stranger. A stranger? Bring them all here. Yes. Thus, Sejun and his party, guided by Minotaur 1, met Minotaur King with Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, and Wuchen Sa, Minotaur 1004. Beside Minotaur King, a red bone club and a white horn were stuck in the ground. And that must be the waypoint. Sejun looked at the red crystal scene behind Minotaur King. Yumu? He asks why you came here, meow. Theo translated Minotaur King's words. Tell Minotaur King I came to collect the debt from 3 days ago. I got it, meow. Minotaur King, we came to collect the debt from 3 days ago, meow. Theo bravely conveyed Sejun's words to Minotaur King. There was no reason for him to back down because he was the deadly yellow cat under the command of the great black dragon. Pooh hut. This adds a splendid scene to my life story, meow. When Theo was imagining a splendid scene for a story to tell others later. Yumua. Minotaur King was furious at the attitude of demanding a price so boldly. Meow gulp. Meow gulp. Theo, startled by Minotaur King's shout, began to hiccup. Calm down. Sejun soothed the startled Theo by stroking his head, then approached Minotaur King. And then, Chuck. He put his hand on Minotaur King's leg and said, I've heard that black minotaurs are honorable warriors, but it seems that was an old story. You don't even feel ashamed of what you've done and instead you get angry. So, is it okay if I tell your subordinates that their boss stole someone else's food? When Sejun conveyed his words and was about to remove his hand. Yumu. Wait. Minotaur King grabbed Sejun urgently. I knew it. Sejun forced down the corners of his mouth that were rising and said in an indifferent voice. What is it? Yumu. Yumu. I am a great warrior of the Black Minotaurs, who respect honor. I was planning to repay you later. As compensation for the grass I ate last time. Just as the Minotaur King was about to suggest a price. Hold on. I'll decide what I want to take. First, allow me to use the waypoint. Sejun cut off the Minotaur King's words and stated his own demand. Yumu? You mean the waypoint? So, how about it? At Sejun's words, Minotaur King thought for a moment. And then, Yumu. Okay. I permit it. It might be useless to you, but... The Minotaur King stepped aside to allow Sejun to approach the waypoint. Got it. Sejun didn't hear the rest of Minotaur King's words because he was approaching the waypoint. Finally, Sejun reached out to the red crystal floating in the air. Waypoint of the 99th floor of the tower has been saved. Loading other floors saved waypoint. There is no other floors saved waypoint besides the 99th floor of the tower, so you cannot move to another floor. What? Sejun, who started from the 99th floor of the tower, didn't have any other waypoints saved. There was nowhere to go. Normally, other hunters would start from the first floor, marking the waypoint of the first floor and then climb the tower. And generally, when a waypoint is saved, a portal to the next floor appears. This was possible regardless of the boss raid. There were many floors where the location of the floor boss and the waypoint were different. But he had never heard of a downward portal appearing. There was no need for that, since you could use the waypoint to go down. While Sejun was disappointed. Yumu. Minotaur King, who had kept his beloved bone, sighed in relief. Minotaur King, who valued his own honor, intended to give Sejun his cherished red bone as a compensation to maintain the honor of a great warrior. The red bone was a legendary grade club that turned red by absorbing the blood of numerous monsters. It was one of only 3 legendary items in the tower. He lost the opportunity to get a legendary club because of the waypoint he couldn't even use properly. Of course, there was a side effect of becoming a blood-crazed lunatic if not controlled, so it wouldn't have been good for Sejun to have it anyway. The next price is... Sejun asked Minotaur King for a few more things in return. Then, when Sejun looked at Theo took out a green onion leaves big enough to make a small hill from his bag. This is a gift for our future friendship. Although it was called a gift, it was brought to promote the green onion leaves to the black minotaurs. It meant, we have this, so if you're interested, come and work for us. Swallow. Minotaur King swallowed his saliva looking at the green onion leaves. It seemed as if he had already secured a worker. It's been 3 days since Sejun met Minotaur King. Several things had happened in the meantime. The biggest news was that Mother Rabbit was pregnant again. It was due to the grilled eel. Ever since they started sending baby rabbits to the first-generation rabbit's burrow, something odd has been happening. Let's see if they start asking for grilled eels from now on. Sejun was somehow irritated. And, thanks to the deal with Minotaur King, the whole wasteland area was recognized as Sejun's territory, and 10 black minotaurs came to work on Sejun's land every day and cultivated the wasteland. According to Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, the competition among the black minotaurs who want to come here every day is fierce. Well, they used to eat mud every day. Finally, Sejun received another queen bee's larva yesterday. With this, there will be 3 beehives now. But the blue moon is coming soon. Will it be okay? Sejun looked at the surface field, remembering what happened about a month ago. When the surface field was destroyed by Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, during blue moon, Sejun fell into deep thought. If this keeps happening, there's no reason to plant crops in the surface field. It would be okay if monsters didn't come during the blue moon, but if monsters came even once and made a mess of the farm, all farming would be in vain. Since there was no solution, Sejun even considered giving up on the surface field. Then, the tower's administrator says to leave it to them if you're worrying about monsters rampaging and destroying the fields during the blue moon. Leave it to them? What will they do? The tower's manager asks, smugly, didn't you see them suppressing the monsters during the blue moon? Oh! Come to think of it, there was a time when the monsters quieted down when the black dragon appeared during the first blue moon when Sejun was in distress. It was Eileen. I got it. Then I'll trust you, Thun. The tower administrator tells you to trust them and plant crops, a lot of crops. So Sejun trusted Eileen's words and worked hard to plant crops, but as the blue moon approached, he was a little anxious. It'll be okay, right? Since he had made the decision to trust, Sejun decided to trust Eileen to the end. Today, because of the blue moon, even the crimson giant bear and the black minotaurs did not come. And the wolves went down to the lower floor last night saying they didn't want to cause any damage. It feels somewhat empty without the big guys around, Sejun said while looking at the wide field. Then, chop, chop, chop. What's empty, meow? The charming and deadly yellow cat, President Theo, is here, meow. While resting on Sejun's lap, Theo, who was eating churu, thumped Sejun's chest with his front paw to assert his presence. That's right. You're here. I'm sorry. Where did he learn such charm? Sejun quickly stroked Theo's back. Today, because they had to finish their work early to prepare for the blue moon, he needed Theo's help. In a hurry, they finished their work and prepared for the blue moon. Sejun put out the fire and got rid of the smell. The rabbits went into their burrow, and the poisonous honeybees went into the hive and blocked the entrance. And, see you in the morning, meow. Theo went inside his bag. Once everyone went inside their homes, the cave was eerily quiet. It's cold. Although the weather wasn't too cold, Sejun felt chilly, perhaps because of loneliness, and pulled a blanket over himself. After a while, the blue moon rose. Hee hee. Human, put your trust in the great black dragon Eileen Pratani. Eileen was excited at the thought of helping the human. A while ago, Eileen, to celebrate the 200th day of human stay in the tower, prepared a soup by stirring various potions for hours for the weak human's health, and for expressing gratitude and apology for the human's constant hardships. However, I guess cooking is not my thing. Honestly, cooking was too hard. Eileen worried what if the human asked for more because it was too delicious, but the human did not ask for more, probably knowing Eileen's hardship. On top of that, the human even asked to never make it again from next time. Hee hee. It's nice to see that human worrying about me so much. It was because Sejun was worried about his own life, but Eileen thought it was because he was worried about her. While thinking about the peculiar human, Eileen moved to the rooftop of the tower administrator's space. There was a cylindrical object that looked like a searchlight, with a diameter of 5 m and a thickness of about 1 m. Mmm. Squeak. Squeak. Eileen hummed and diligently cleaned the front part of the cylinder, which had a black dragon drawn on it. And after a while, the surroundings turned bluish, and the blue moon rose. Hee hee. Is it my turn now? Thump. When Eileen pressed the switch on the side of the cylindrical object. Bam! Just as a bat signal appears on the moon, a light came out of the cylinder, and the black dragon drawn on the front of the cylinder moved, and the shadow of the black dragon began to fly above the sky where the blue moon rose. And when the shadow of the black dragon reached the zenith of the sky, roar! Eileen roared loudly from behind the cylinder. Roar dash! The cylinder carried Eileen's voice with magic power and spread it all over the 99th floor of the tower. This cylinder was a magical tool that Eileen's grandfather, Kaiser Pratani, made for his granddaughter. It was an item made so that his granddaughter who couldn't leave the administrator's space could use it once in a while when it was hard to manage the tower. Hee hee. The human will think that's me, right? Eileen proudly looked at the black dragon floating above the sky and roared loudly once again. Roar dash! The roar of the great black dragon soothed the monsters of the 99th floor of the tower who had gone mad due to the blue moon. Chapter 48. Cultivator, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. When Theo became intermediate wandering merchant and the information of the cultivator appeared on the D-grade magical cherry tomato. Who is Tower Farmer Park Sejun? He seems to be Korean by his name. But was there a job called a tower farmer? People sent by hunters and the wealthy from various countries around the world started heading to Korea to gather information about Sejun. Korean Awakened Association's president's office. Inside the president's office, there was nothing but a desk and a table. And it was cold as a freezer. A muscular old man in his 60s with white hair sitting at the head of the table was taking off his top and sitting with his bare feet on a 1-meter-thick ice slab, glaring at a man. Cheek. His foot was so hot that the ice was melting even in this cold place. Dongsik, I won't beat around the bush. Spill everything you know. Association President Han Tae-jun spoke to his youngest disciple, Phoenix Guild's 5th team leader Kim Dongsik. Master, what are you talking about? Kim Dongsik, wearing a thick padding jacket, blew out white breath and asked. I heard you visited Park Sejun's house twice. Ah. That. Have you ever met Park Sejun? Han Tae-jun asked with a serious expression. No. I just met through a cat-wandering merchant called Theo. Kim Dongsik explained in detail what he knew to Han Tae-jun. He didn't pretend to hide anything. If he got caught doing that, he'd be beaten to death by Han Tae-jun. He couldn't afford to be beaten like that after turning 40. His master, Han Tae-jun, although currently retired due to the curse of flames and having to cool his body like that, was a tremendous monster who unofficially climbed up to the 52nd floor of the tower. The reason Kim Dongsik believed Theo's words easily when Sejun said he had climbed up to the 40th floor was because he had already seen his master, the unparalleled genius, Han Tae-jun. So that's what happened. Well done. Dongsik, you will protect Park Sejun's family. Association President Han Tae-jun wanted to prevent the possibility of the producer of the magical cherry tomato, who was receiving global attention, leaving the country due to his family's problems. Excuse me? Why? What? Since you're already familiar with them, it's best if you do it. Any objections? Ah. No. Although there were objections, he couldn't voice them. Don't worry. I will arrange for your senior brothers to alternate with you. And so, unilaterally, Han Tae-jun arranged for Kim Dongsik to be assigned as the protection for Sejun's family. Roardash. Fortunately, as soon as the blue moon rose, Eileen intervened as promised, so the ground farm was safe. That's a relief. Watching Eileen fly around in the sky where the blue moon was, Sejun looked at the crops with relief. And after a while, SSSSS. Blue energy began to condense in the tomato field, potato field, and sweet potato field. Oh! He had forgotten. It was time to harvest the sweet potatoes. My goodness! I forgot about the sweet potatoes. Sejun blamed his foolishness and checked the crops where the energy of the blue moon had condensed. The blue moon's energy was imbued in 13 crops in the tomato field, 3 in the potato field, and 7 in the sweet potato field. Sejun hurriedly remembered the locations of the crops before the blue moon's energy completely permeated them. And as the blue energy completely permeated the crops, he harvested the potatoes and sweet potatoes, whose colors were hidden under the soil, first. Was it here? Sejun went to the location he remembered and pulled the potato stems. Thud, thud, thud. One blue potato was visible among the potatoes that were strung along the stem. In this way, Sejun, who obtained a total of 3 power potatoes imbued with the blue moon's energy, quickly moved to the sweet potato field. And then, thunk! He dug up 7 power sweet potatoes imbued with the blue moon's energy. Lastly, while harvesting the magical cherry tomatoes imbued with the blue moon's energy, the tower administrator is boasting about their contributions. Of course I saw. Now quickly create a quest and take these. Sejun proactively offered 5 blue tomatoes, 1 potato, and 1 sweet potato. He offered the crops first even though Eileen did not ask for them. He hoped that Eileen would actively block the blue moon in the future. And then, the tower administrator thanks you. The tower administrator shouts out loud to leave the blue moon to them in the future. Eileen did not betray Sejun's expectations. The tower administrator hesitantly asks if you can cook the potatoes and sweet potatoes. Eileen asked cautiously, as if she was sorry for asking for more while being the recipient. I'll do it. Sejun, having experienced Eileen's disaster-grade cooking skills, readily agreed. Although he wondered if this was also considered cooking, he thought he wouldn't feel good if Eileen messed up roasting the potatoes and sweet potatoes. He couldn't stand not being able to eat the crops. And he didn't want to see Eileen's message of crying over messing up the cooking. He planned to make steamed potatoes and roasted sweet potatoes anyway, so it was not a big hassle. In the meantime, as the harvested potatoes and sweet potatoes were turned into steamed potatoes and roasted sweet potatoes, Sejun took a look at the options of a magical cherry tomato imbued with the blue moon's energy. Magical cherry tomato imbued with blue moon's energy. A tomato grown in the tower with sufficient nutrients that tastes good. The taste has further improved with the energy of the blue moon. A farmer familiar with farming grew it, so the taste and efficiency are good. Upon consumption, your magic permanently increases by 0.3. Cultivator, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Expiration date, 120 days. Grade, C. My magic increases by 0.3. Up until now, the stat increase between crops imbued with the blue moon's energy and regular crops has been consistent at twice the amount. But starting from grade C, the efficiency of crops imbued with the blue moon's energy was better, making the difference less than twice. I'll just eat 4 for now. Although he would not eat the eel's core right away as he needed it to use as a source of light when securing food outside the pond, Sejun prepared to raise his magic level to more than 10 so that he could eat the giant electric eel's core whenever necessary. When Sejun put the cherry tomato he was holding into his mouth and chewed. Crunch. Splash. The plump skin broke, releasing the sweet and sour juice inside. The juice of the cherry tomato, which was of C grade and contained the energy of the blue moon, tasted even richer. Wow, it's delicious. You have consumed a magical cherry tomato imbued with the energy of the blue moon. Your magic permanently increases by 0.3. Before the aftertaste of the flavor disappeared, Sejun put another blue cherry tomato into his mouth. Crunch. You have consumed a magical cherry tomato imbued with the energy of the blue moon. Your magic permanently increases by 0.3. In this way, Sejun, who ate 4 blue cherry tomatoes, finally increased his magic to over 10. Specifically, it was 10.25. Shortly after the steamed potatoes and roasted sweet potatoes were done, Sejun sent 5 cherry tomatoes, 1 steamed potato, and 1 roasted sweet potato to Eileen, thus completing the quest. And then, Sejun peeled the blue skin off the steamed potato. Who? Sejun blew on the potato to cool it down quickly. In a moment when no one was looking, he planned to eat the potato imbued with the energy of the blue moon and get rid of the evidence. It's a shame there's no sugar. It certainly tasted fine with salt, but for some reason, he thought about sugar because he couldn't have it. Just then. Upon thinking, he didn't have sugar, but he had something better than sugar. It was organic honey harvested by honeybees from the cherry tomato flowers he had grown himself. Sejun hurriedly brought the glass jar filled with honey, opened the lid, and poured honey into a bowl. Glug, glug. Unlike when he gave honey to Quenji, baby bear, the angle of the glass bottle went down without hesitation. And then, dip. Sejun dipped the steamed potato deeply into the bowl of honey and put it in his mouth. The potato coated in honey entered Sejun's mouth. Hua, ha. As he cooled the hot potato with his breath, he chewed the potato. As he chewed the potato, the honey, which had turned to liquid due to the heat, seeped into the fluffy potato, creating a harmonious taste. Gulp. No other words were needed. It was the perfect combination. You have consumed a power potato imbued with the energy of the blue moon. Your strength permanently increases by 0.3. When he finished eating one steamed potato, you have achieved the feat of recreating the forgotten dish of honey potato. This is a forgotten dish. Just because he dipped a steamed potato in honey? Eileen ate the 5 cherry tomatoes imbued with the energy of the blue moon that she received from Sejun all at once. Thump, thud, thump, thud. She focused on her dragon heart, which was beating slowly but steadily. Whether her body had adapted this time, she didn't faint. Creak, creak. Feeling the throbbing of her dragon heart, Eileen swallowed the steamed potato and roasted sweet potato in order. It's a pity. The potatoes and sweet potatoes disappeared as if they melted in an instant. When Eileen was feeling the lingering taste and regretting it, she saw the human dipping a steamed potato in something beyond the crystal ball. And then, achievement, recreation of the forgotten dish, honey potato, has been achieved in the tower. Eileen nodded at the human. Reproducing delicious food, he truly was an extraordinary human. He's done something remarkable, so he deserves a reward. Thump, 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 thump. Eileen's heartbeat grew stronger. This time, it wasn't her dragon heart but another heartbeat. Extraordinary human, accept this quest. Blinded by the honey potatoes, Eileen didn't notice. The tower administrator nods at your excellent achievement. A quest has been generated. Quest, serve honey potatoes to the tower's administrator. Reward, 1 job skill. Refusal, well, I'd be hurt, but I won't show it. What? I'd be hurt but won't show it? Then don't put it in the quest. Can I just make it with regular potatoes? There was no reason to refuse when she was offering a skill after so long. And it wasn't hard to do either. The tower's administrator nods vigorously, indicating her understanding. Sejun peeled the skins off the steamed potatoes he had in the pot and put 5 of them into a bowl filled with honey. Here. The bowl in Sejun's hand disappeared entirely. And then, you have completed the quest. You have obtained a special job skill, Cooking LV1 as a quest completion reward. He obtained a new skill. Cooking. Honey potato recipe has been registered in special job skill, Cooking LV1. Recipe. Sejun checked the cooking skill. Special job skill, Cooking LV1. The taste and effect of food made using ingredients from the tower will slightly improve. Registered recipes, 1. The effects increase slightly. As Sejun peeled the blue skin off another steamed potato and dipped it into honey. You have created a power honey potato imbued with the energy of the blue moon. Your proficiency with Cooking LV1 has increased slightly. The taste and effect of the power honey potato imbued with the energy of the blue moon have increased slightly due to the effect of cooking LV1. Power honey potato imbued with the energy of the blue moon. You steamed a power potato imbued with the energy of the blue moon, peeled off the skin, and seasoned it with honey. The combination of steamed potato and honey made the taste sweet and soft. The taste slightly improves. Upon consumption, your strength permanently increases by 0.3. The increase in strength due to cooking LV1 is too small to be displayed. Cook, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Expiration date, 1 day. Grade, C. I can't make it in advance and eat it. The expiration date was 1 day, and the increase in strength was barely different. Sejun decided to be satisfied with the improved taste. Shall I try it? Sejun put the finished honey potato in his mouth. And then, gulp. Swish. He buried the blue potato skin in the cherry tomato field, completely erasing any trace of him eating the power potato imbued with the energy of the blue moon. On 212th day of being stranded, Sejun's 8th blue moon passed very peacefully. Chapter 49, Creating Thunder Clouds. As soon as the blue moon ended, Sejun went to the green onion field on the ground. A few days ago, he planted a few detoxifying green onions in part of the green onion field and had been cutting the leaves and dividing the growing roots to plant more. He needed an detoxifying green onion for every meal in order to eat seafood outside the pond. And the result of the division and planting was fortunately successful. The roots of the green onions planted by division from the detoxifying green onion grew as the same grade detoxifying green onion. It was possible to duplicate items. So he checked to see if there were any detoxifying green onions containing the energy of the blue moon among the detoxifying green onions, but there's none. As he thought, there were no detoxifying green onions containing the energy of the blue moon. Unlike other crops, green onions didn't contain the energy of the blue moon. Was the condition not right? Let's get to work. Sejun, who had been thinking, began to cut the lush green onion leaves that had grown overnight. It was almost morning, so it was an awkward time to sleep. After about 30 minutes. Thud. Gare. Quenji, baby bear, who came to work with Mother Crimson Giant Bear, greeted Sejun by waving his 2 front paws. Then, Gare. Sniff. Quenji, baby bear, approached Sejun and began to sniff vigorously near Sejun's face. Why are you doing that? Sejun, feeling guilty, tried to retreat, but plop. Quenji, baby bear, grabbed Sejun's shoulder to prevent him from running away. Then, sniff. He persistently sniffed around Sejun's mouth. Gare. Dad's mouth smells like honey. Gare? Did you eat honey alone? Times. Sejun's perfect crime began to shake violently with Sejun's pupils. Quenji, baby bear, shall we eat something delicious? Sejun quickly changed the direction of the conversation and brought boiled potatoes from the cave. Then, this is a honey potato. Sejun placed 5 boiled potatoes on the green onion leaves and generously poured honey over them. You have made 5 power honey potatoes. Your cooking LV1 proficiency has increased slightly. Due to the effect of cooking LV1, the taste and effect of power honey potatoes have increased slightly. Here, eat it. Quenji, baby bear, swallowed the honey potatoes that Sejun had made, along with the green onion leaves. Chew. Want more? Gare. At Sejun's words, Quenji, baby bear, nodded his head strongly. The moment Quenji, baby bear, tasted the honey potato, the fact that Sejun's mouth smelled like honey wasn't important. Sejun was barely able to keep Quenji's, baby bear, mouth shut with the honey potatoes. And a while later, the rabbits woke up and ate blue moon energy-imbued cherry tomatoes and roasted sweet potatoes, starting a busy morning. First floor of the tower, Gaggle's Tower Farm Project headquarters. In the headquarters yard, about 6,000 cherry tomatoes that were successfully germinated from the seeds of D-grade magic power cherry tomatoes had already grown up to ankle height. Come on, move quickly. Team leader Thomas was urging the researchers who were diluting the high-concentration growth stimulant with water. The reason why cherry tomatoes could grow so fast was thanks to the growth stimulant developed by Gaggle. Although the product was too expensive to commercialize compared to its effect, they were spraying the cherry tomato field without sparing the growth stimulant in order to check the results quickly under the direction of Vice Chairman Michael. They didn't even know what kind of result it would make. Squirm. The stem of the cherry tomato moved slightly, but no one among the researchers noticed it. In the late afternoon after lunch, a strange atmosphere began to flow in the green onion field. Swish. Swish. Sejun's face hardened as he cut the green onion leaves. Squeak. Squeak. On the contrary, the faces of the sickle rabbit and the red-dotted rabbit among the second-generation offspring were full of smiles. Between the two flowed a pink aura. The two rabbits were in love. Squeak. The mother rabbit seemed pleased, as if it was a good time, looking at the two of them. However, these guys, in this sacred workplace. Sejun couldn't look at them fondly. This was definitely not because he felt sick or felt uncomfortable. As the leader of the farm, he needed to inform them of the farm's rule prohibiting romance during work hours. Go! Quenji, baby bear. Rolling attack. Gare. At Sejun's command, Quenji, baby bear, rolled forward once and gare. He chased after the sickle rabbit at a fast speed, aggressively picking up the green onion leaves. Whack! The sickle rabbit started to cut green onion leaves in surprise at Quenji's baby bear charge. And go! Black rabbit. Show your elder brother's dignity. Bounce. At Sejun's command, the black rabbit walked towards the red-dotted rabbit with a casual gait like a delinquent and led her to where she was watering the crops for on-site training. Once the atmosphere that bothered Sejun disappeared. HMPH. You kids are at least 10 years too early. Sejun said villain-like lines and then started working again. And squeak. Squeak. The mother rabbit shook her head as she watched Sejun. She was wondering who the real kid was. As evening fell. Roar. Gare. The mother crimson giant bear took Quenji, baby bear, home. And moo. Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, representing the other black minotaurs, informed Sejun that it was time to leave work. Right. You did well. Take that pile of green onion leaves over there. Moo. Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, was happy at Sejun's words and picked up a pile of green onion leaves and went off duty. We should clock out too. Squeak. Whack. At Sejun's words, the rabbits finished their work and started to go down to the cave. Is the work done now, meow? Theo approached to claim Sejun's empty lap. President Theo, where have you been playing? Do you want to get fired again? No, meow. I was cleaning up the bag, meow. And I found this in the bag, meow. Theo handed over an item he got for free from the blacksmith's corner to Sejun, looking wronged. This is... It was a necklace with a small yellow gemstone. Scratched gem necklace. Usage restriction, none. Creator, confidential. Grade, E. As the name suggests, there were many scratches on the gem. Eileen, can you appraise this? The tower's administrator says leave it to them. A quest has been generated. Eileen took the necklace and appraised it. The tower's administrator says it's useless, but it's not dangerous. In return for receiving the necklace, she requested cherry tomatoes. Here are 20 cherry tomatoes. Sejun gave Eileen 20 cherry tomatoes, and the necklace appeared in Sejun's hand. You have acquired the appraised necklace, Necklace of Light, as a quest completion reward. Necklace of Light. Sejun checked the options of the necklace. Necklace of Light. It's a necklace with light magic inscribed on an amber gem. Usage restrictions, LV 5 and above, magic power 3 and above. Creator, Horin, the Green Tower's Magician. Grade, C. Skill, Light LV1. Light LV1. When you use the skill, it brightens up the surroundings. The higher the wearer's magic power, the stronger the light. How is it, meow? I didn't particularly like anything in the drawer, but I picked it up because it was free, meow. Theo spoke in an uncertain voice to Sejun, who was checking the necklace he had appraised. As expected, the golden paw. Meow. Theo's drawing ability was impressive. The necklace of light had a feature that Sejun needed. That was the light skill, which emits light. Although he wanted to eat the eel's core, he had been enduring it because if he ate the eel's core himself, the black rabbit would lose the way to get seafood from outside the pond. If he used the light skill built into the magic necklace, everything would be solved. He needs to check the brightness first. Besides, that's amazing. Theo's golden paw was a perfect high-end item detector that did not even go below grade C. What, meow? As Sejun looked at him with displeasure, Theo anxiously clung to Sejun's lap. Come here. Why, meow? Gotcha. Sejun grabbed Theo's body with both hands, lifted him, and moved Theo's front paw back and forth as if detecting pulse, and roamed around. How about it? Is there a place your foot is attracted to? Sejun asked as he carried Theo around for about 3 minutes. He was planning to stop and go down to the cave now since it was a joke. However, keep walking, meow. Okay. As Theo replied with a concentrated expression with his eyes closed, Sejun thought that Theo was seriously searching for items and walked around diligently. Foo-hoot. So this is how it feels to be carried? It feels good, meow. If Sejun knew what Theo was feeling, he would have stopped, but Sejun didn't have the ability to read minds. So they walked for about 10 minutes, but Theo's front paw was quiet. Let's eat. Hungry, Sejun brought Theo down to the cave. President Park, let's do it again next time, meow. Only Theo was satisfied with those 10 minutes. For dinner, they had baked sweet potatoes and grilled fish. As soon as the meal was over. Here, try wearing this. Sejun handed the necklace of light to the black rabbit. But your magic power is over 3, right? Squeak. Swoosh. Swoosh. In response to Sejun's question, the black rabbit squeaked as if to say don't underestimate him and wrote his magic power number on the dirt floor with his front paw. 33. What? Sejun was surprised to see that the black rabbit's magic power was much higher than his own. Meanwhile, flash. The black rabbit, who wore the necklace, used the necklace's skill to light up the surroundings. And then, splash. The black rabbit, using the light skill, jumped into the pond and went out through the hole and returned. How about it? Can you see well? Squeak. In response to Sejun's question, the black rabbit nodded. It sees well. Really? In response to the black rabbit's answer, Sejun picked up the gigantic electric eel's core. Finally, it was time to eat the core. Crunch. He took a big bite and swish. The hard core turned mushy and flowed into his mouth. Sejun was surprised at the unexpected taste he felt from the inner core. What? Why does it taste like orange-flavored soda here? He felt a fizzing orange-flavored soda taste from the liquefied gigantic electric eel's core. An image of orange Fanta came to Sejun's mind. Gulp. While enjoying the aftertaste. You have consumed the inner core of the giant electric eel. You have learned skill, Rain Thunder LV1. A message appeared saying he had learned a skill. Learned. As Sejun was feeling strange, who always saw only the message that he had acquired a skill. You lack a great deal of magical power to properly use Rain Thunder LV1. For the user's safety, Rainfall is sealed. For the user's safety, Throw Thunder is sealed. What? If Rain and Thunder are sealed in the Rain Thunder skill, then it's not a Rain Thunder skill. Sejun quickly checked the skill. Skill, Rain Thunder LV1. You can create a thundercloud to use rain and thunder. Create thundercloud. You create a thundercloud with magic power. The stronger the magic power, the larger and denser the thundercloud you can create. If the environment is right, there's a low chance to make it rain. Rainfall, sealed, requires magic power of 30 or above. Throw thunder, sealed, requires magic power of 70 or above. Create thundercloud. As Sejun used the skill, Fluffy Fluffy, a small thundercloud, about 1 meter above Sejun's head, was created. Aha! He used a third of his magic power, but the thundercloud was much smaller than expected. Sejun decided to be satisfied with the ability to create shade with the cloud when resting and having tasted the orange-flavored soda. Then, "Oh great black dragon! We have returned." The silver wolves that had gone down to avoid the blue moon came back with 3 grey rabbits. Chapter 50, Joining Forces. Elka and the wolves, who had avoided the blue moon on the 99th floor of the tower, quickly stopped by the 85th floor to inform their tribal wolves that they were now working under the great black dragon. Then, they delivered a small portion of food prepared by Sejun and set back on their path to the 99th floor. Chief Elka. A subordinate wolf called Elka. What? Look over there. The subordinate wolf pointed out something. There, 3 rabbits were begging on the roadside. Are those rabbits the servants of the great black dragon? They looked dirty and skinny from hardships, but they were unmistakably rabbits. Elka thought the grey rabbits had escaped from Sejun. How dare they run away from the great black dragon? Catch them and take them to the great black dragon. Yes. Yes. In this way, Elka and the wolves caught the begging grey rabbits one by one and went up to the 99th floor. When Sejun and Theo went up to the ground to see the wolves. Thud. The wolves carefully placed the 3 grey rabbits they had been holding in their mouths in front of Sejun. Shivering. The grey rabbits, dragged by the wolves, were shaking in fear. Elka, who are these? We have caught the runaway servants of the great black dragon. Runaway servants? Elka looked at Sejun, wagging his tail as if to say, "Didn't I do well?" "You did well for now." Sejun patted Elka's head. "Where did they find these guys?" Architect Grey Rabbit. Wood Craftsman Grey Rabbit. Leaf Craftsman Grey Rabbit. The wolves brought in technicians. Shivering. "What should we do, brother?" "Brother, I'm scared. Even if we are given to the dragon, as long as we stay alert, we'll survive. Everyone, stay alert." The architect rabbit comforted his siblings who were anxious about the human, cat, and wolf gazes looking down at them. He was also anxious, but if he too showed his anxiousness, the situation would get worse. "We are the grey rabbits of the great rabbit kingdom." The older rabbit brother stepped forward and cried out with pride. It was his attempt to shake off the anxiety. Then, swoosh! A human hand reached out towards him. "Did I overstep?" The older rabbit brother regretted it and tightly closed his eyes. Squeak! Among the 3 starving rabbits, the healthiest-looking architect rabbit was mumbling something on his own. As Sejun reached out his hand to talk to the architect rabbit. Squeak! Bam! The other 2 grey rabbits behind threw themselves towards Sejun's hand. However, growl! How dare you try to attack the great black dragon? The wolves lightly swung their paws and the grey rabbits fainted in an instant. In the settled atmosphere, Sejun put his hand on the head of the architect rabbit. And then, "I'm sorry for now. Our wolves had some misunderstanding." Squeak? Squeak? Misunderstanding? Then, are you sparing us? Of course. Why would I kill you guys? Squeak. That's a relief. Upon hearing Sejun's promise not to kill them, the architect rabbit seemed relieved and passed out. "Let's sleep now and talk again tomorrow." "Yes, great black dragon." Sejun told the wolves, then took the grey rabbits down to the cave. He laid them down on straw and covered them with green onion leaves. "Representative Theo, let's sleep too." Sejun said, laying down and covering himself with a blanket. What? I'm President Theo, meow. Your time is up. The time for President Theo, which had been extended for various reasons, was over. Ah, that's right, meow. At Sejun's words, Theo readily admitted it and climbed onto Sejun's stomach to sleep. Coon. When morning came, Quenji came to play and woke everyone up. All right. Sejun got up, added a line to the wall, and began the morning of day 213. And then, squeak, squeak. The rabbit couple emerging from the cave was surprised to discover the still sleeping grey rabbits. From the expression of the rabbit couple, it seemed they recognized them. Do you know each other? In response to Sejun's question, the male rabbit nodded his head. And then, chuck, squeak. There was once a great rabbit kingdom. He began explaining, placing his hand on Sejun's body. According to the male rabbit, in the past, the rabbit kingdom was inhabited by 3 rabbit tribes living in harmony. The white rabbit tribe, who enjoyed farming, the grey rabbit tribe, who were good with their hands and loved creating things, and the black rabbit tribe, who were adept in combat. Squeak. But one day the red monsters covered the sky. The sudden invasion of the red monsters caused the downfall of the rabbit kingdom, and all the rabbits scattered to find a way to survive. And the unconscious grey rabbits over there were from a neighboring village of his own. As they were talking, asak, asak. The sound of slowly chewing on green onion leaves could be heard. Here! When he looked towards the sound, he found that the grey rabbits were nibbling on the green onion leaves Sejun had covered them with, even in their sleep. How hungry they must have been to be eating even in their sleep. Let's wake them up, feed them, and put them back to sleep. Squeak! At Sejun's words, the rabbit couple happily rushed to roast some piranhas and more green onion leaves. They seemed happy to meet fellow natives from the same kingdom. As the morning was almost completed, squirm, squirm. The grey rabbits, who had not been awakened, woke up on their own, following the delicious smell with their noses. And then, squeak, squeak, squeak. Seeing the white rabbits and black rabbits roaming around, the grey rabbits shed tears. They misunderstood that they had died and that the rabbits in heaven were welcoming them. But then, gurgle. After hearing the sound from their stomachs, the architect rabbit came to his senses. It couldn't be that they were dead and their stomachs were making sounds. Then, squeak. The rabbit couple approached the grey rabbits who had regained their senses. Uncle, aunt, have you been well? The grey rabbits greeted the rabbit couple joyfully, asking each other about their well-being. What about your parents? They passed away while protecting us from the red monsters. Times. The rabbit couple quietly embraced the grey rabbits. Then, gurgle. The sound came from the grey rabbits' bellies again. Squeak. The rabbit couple quickly fed the grey rabbits breakfast. This is our farm's owner. And these are our children. While eating breakfast, the rabbit couple introduced Sejun, Theo, and their children, greeting each other. After breakfast, the rabbits went off to do their individual tasks. And the grey rabbits left behind began to create something, seemingly to repay their meal. Here? What's this? Sejun, who came to prepare lunch, found the grey rabbits busily creating something. In the kitchen, there was a basket made of green onion leaves filled neatly with cut green onion leaves ready to be eaten. And utensils made from surrounding trees, spoons and chopsticks. They were of a higher quality compared to the ones Sejun had made roughly. Do you perhaps need a job? Sejun had planned to make the offer once they got a bit closer, but after witnessing the grey rabbit's handiwork, he couldn't resist asking. Squeak! 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 At Sejun's words, the grey rabbits nodded their heads vigorously. One reason the grey rabbits put their skills to use was to catch the eye of the farm owner, Sejun. If they could eat like this every morning, or even just have green onion leaves every day, they would be content. And so, the 3 grey rabbits joined Sejun's farm. And as a result, Sejun's standard of living started to increase significantly. From now on, the gray rabbits will also be living with us. Sejun announced the gray rabbits' joining of the farm while eating lunch. After lunch. I'm sleepy. Give me your lap, meow. Yawn. Squeak. Theo and the black rabbit took Sejun's 2 knees and Quenji took Sejun's back, starting their nap. Create thundercloud. Fluffy. Sejun made a shade that even covered Quenji with a thundercloud. Sip, sip. Sejun sipped his coffee while examining the thundercloud he created. But does this thing move? As soon as Sejun thought about moving the thundercloud. Swoosh. The thundercloud moved slowly to the side. It was slow, but it did move. Then, the proficiency of creating thundercloud has slightly increased. Hey! The proficiency of creating thunderclouds increased. However, it was unclear whether the proficiency of the rain thunder skill itself had increased. Squeak. As the thundercloud moved aside and suddenly the dazzling sun shone, Quenji pressed its head more against Sejun's back to avoid the sun. Sorry. Sorry. Sejun patted the head of Quenji and returned the dark cloud to its original position. This time, he changed the shape of the cloud. It wasn't detailed, but it was possible to make the dark cloud a bit thicker or thinner, wider or narrower. In addition, every time Sejun changed the shape of the dark cloud, the proficiency of creating dark clouds increased. Let's get up now. After a nap of about 30 minutes, Sejun woke up Theo, the black rabbit, and Quenji and started work again. Swoosh. Sejun grabbed the back of Theo's head as he tried to sneak off somewhere else for another nap. What, meow? Our representative Theo should show an example to his subordinates today. Is that so, meow? It's time to show my cool side, meow. Wolves, follow me, meow. Slash. At Sejun's words, Theo unsheathed his claws and ran towards the green onion field. And then, grr. The wolves followed Theo to the green onion field and started cutting the green onion leaves with sharp claws. Sejun sent Theo and the wolves to the green onion field and went down to the cave. Cherry tomatoes, potatoes, sweet potatoes. There was a lot to harvest today. Sejun had the sickle rabbit cut the sweet potato sprouts to be planted later and started harvesting. Scratch. Scratch. Sejun quickly finished harvesting the cherry tomatoes and thump thump thump. In the potato field, he pulled the potato stems and harvested the potatoes. The shovel rabbits turned the soil and harvested the remaining potatoes that could not be harvested by pulling the potato stems. And when Sejun was about to harvest sweet potatoes from the sweet potato field where all the sweet potato sprouts had been cut. Tumble tumble. Theo walked weakly and clung to Sejun's leg, who was cutting green onion leaves. Representative Theo, what's wrong? The wolves cut the green onion leaves better than me, meow. Hey! When Sejun looked up to the ground, he saw the wolves. Slice slice slice. With a single swipe of a wolf's paw, a sharp wind rose and 4 to 5 green onion leaves were cut at once. In particular, nearly 10 green onion leaves were cut off with Elka's swipe. That's impressive. Theo's confidence was about to break. However, Sejun could not let Theo's spirit die, so he quickly started to boost Theo's spirits. It's okay. Theo, your talent isn't in your claws. Then where is my talent, meow? Theo, your talent is in your front paws. Is that so, meow? At Sejun's words, Theo had a great realization. Pooh hut. Everything Park Sejun says is right, meow. I'm a merchant, meow. My talent is the deadly charm of my front paws to entice customers, meow. Connecting the front paws with other words sparked creative thinking. Thunk. Theo, whose spirit was revived, got off Sejun's leg and walked to a corner of the cave. However, thud. Theo's neck was caught again by Sejun. Theo, where are you going? You have work to do. President Park, I'm tired, meow. Yeah. Rest after finishing work. Although Theo spoke with a tired expression, Sejun firmly answered and put Theo in a sweet potato field where sweet potato sprouts were not yet cut. That's how Theo helped the sickle rabbit cut sweet potato sprouts. A little later. Slice. Did you see that? Meow. My amazing cutting skill, meow. Theo was still the strongest in the cave.